think we're doing very well for the dreaded Friday afternoon, right after lunch panel. I think that is a reflection of the importance that this topic has for so many of you. A special welcome also to Governor Mamo. Thank you so much for being here. We are panel 11. And if I had to summarize the previous 10 panels over the last 2 days in one sentence, it would be, this train is leaving the station. We've heard so many stories in the last 10 panels about growth, about expansion, acceleration, progress. But we also have seen that progress means different things for different people, and that in Ethiopia right now, that means that the financial inclusion gap between men and women, instead of shrinking, is actually increasing. So as this train is leaving the station, let us make sure that we're not leaving half the passengers out on the platform. Our collective mission, I think, in the Ethiopian financial sector has to be making the financial sector work for women. And that is not just the title of a conference that the National Bank, together with the World Bank, put on a year ago. It has since also become a slogan for a whole host of activities. I met outside with the first graduates of the New Fin trainee program that brings young women, provides training to young women who are just entering the banking profession. I've seen the slogan, making the capital market work for women, so really encouraging to see all of that. And I think today we're marking another step forward on this agenda with the launch of the gender scorecard. And I think it's a big step. It's a big step because the scorecard gives us targets to work towards, but it also gives us the benchmarks and the measurement for us to know where we stand in that process. I know that many of you who are here from commercial banks in Ethiopia will be curious to see the scores for your bank, and we will get to that, but we will get to that at the end of the panel. In the meantime, let us hear and have a conversation with some of the people in the country who are working hard to make the financial sector work for women, whether that's as leaders in the banking sector or as development partners working on this agenda. So if I can start with my first question to Wazir Tigist from Enat Bank. You will have seen that there were 30 banks across the country that were scored in this initial exercise. One of them got the rating of transformational, and it was Enat Bank. Can we get a big round of applause for Enat Bank, please? So Tigist, were you surprised to hear that?
Thank you, Toni. But before I answer your interesting question, I would like to thank National Bank of Ethiopia, the organizer. It's a wonderful learning platform. And again, I want to thank that making the financial sector reform gender-oriented reform. I really want to, on behalf of Enat Bank, in the management of Enat Bank, this was, as you know, it's close to our heart. So it's good. We've been hearing that the reform is comprehensive. It's something that we want to upload National Bank of Ethiopia in front of this gathering. For your question, no, it's not a surprise for me.
Let me follow up on that then, maybe by asking you to tell us a little bit more about Enat's mission and what you're doing for women's financial inclusion in the country.
Okay, that's what I said. It's not surprising for me. As you know, gender responsiveness, women financial inclusion, and women empowerment was the DNA of Enat Bank. From the outset, Enat Bank was founded by women, as you know, 11 women. So for the last 12 years, we have been encapsulating this vision of becoming the first choice bank of Ethiopia by maximizing women economic empowerment in 5 strategic pillars. One of it was women empowerment. You know, women empowerment taken, as I said, as a nucleus of the banking existence. It's our mission and our vision. So we put a dedicated banking solution department, women banking solution department, because Enat Bank took a good stock of the barriers and the challenges of finance access to women. So, as you know, there is a demand side and the supply side challenges for women to access financing. So, with this principle, Enat Bank found it very critical to have a dedicated department for banking solution department, and we put a dedicated fund so that one of the challenge was this collateral challenge. So we need to work innovatively, how to reduce the collateral barriers of those women. So the next strategic pillar is being innovative. Enat Bank became innovative in traditional way. To say some of the issues that how we go innovative. Banks, we collect savings. So we make saving products to be a collateral risk guarantee. We should do that because we have a product and not a cash product. So we change the traditional products to serve or to reduce the challenges and the barriers. And for that, I wouldn't say much how Enat Bank being innovative. As you know, we were the winner of the innovative financial window from World Bank. So we've been, you do your own analysis and you found that Enat Bank is working innovatively. So we're using that fund, to bridge the financial gap that we are having. And the next strategic pillar is that partnership. We've been saying yesterday and today, we have been saying that partnership is a key. So we partner to reduce since 12 years. We partner with individuals, development agencies, NGOs, and UN Women, so that these are the most critical, partner in reducing the poverty, and they are working to alleviate the burden of the woman. So we need to change that platform because the fund that the grant these NGOs or development association getting, the impact has to be, increased. So we develop a platform that those NGOs and any individuals, they can bring the fund to Enat Bank, they can put it to Enat Bank, so it would be used as a collateral, and we change the fund to produce income-generating activity. And the last is digitalization. Digitalization, when we're talking about in the morning, Enat Bank is the second to go digital next to Coop. So we addressed 22,000 only women, and we dispersed 1.4 billion for the last 1 year. So imagine that we are making a big impact. And the last one is advocacy. For the last 12 years, Enat Bank is doing advocacy, that women has to be included. As you know, women has hidden growth reserve. We've been all the studies and shows that the opportunities that's missed because women are not included in the financial sector, they're not participating in the economy as a whole. So this has to change. I think this time is really a thrilling time, exciting time for Enat Bank and as well for the sector, because Enat Bank has leveraged the business profit. We listen in the morning that the profit has to be muted, the objective. And Enat Bank has changed that. That's putting dedicated fund to 3 to 5% from the shareholder. So I can go on a day or the whole day to state how Enat Bank is doing.
I think I'm getting a sense of why this did not come as a surprise to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tigist. Deribie, if I can continue with you. The good news for Cooperative Bank of Oromia was that you were the top scorer on the innovation score, which looks at both products specifically designed for women and digital lending to women. Can you tell us a little bit about the secret sauce, the secrets that Cooperative Bank or Coop Bank, what puts you ahead of the market in this?
Thank you, Toni. And I would like to extend my sincere thanks to National Bank of Ethiopia for having me on this important and the first kind of financial forum. The secret sauce is purpose-driven innovation. Our purpose is empowering communities and transforming lives. So before explaining the detailed changes, let me tell you some couples of mindsets and the belief we have. Financial inclusion. We don't believe financial inclusion or we don't treat financial inclusion as a compliance box. We rather believe as a purpose that can empower communities and transforming lives for the better future and the generation to come. The second mindset and the belief as a bank we have is innovation for us is not tech solution. It is a purpose. It is a vehicle that fulfill our purpose to empowering communities and transforming lives. Of course, we are doing a strategy. We are introducing different strategy at different time. Recently, we have introduced S-cubic strategy, winning strategy, a segment-led shift at scale. We have done a lot of experiments over the last 3-4 years, and now we wanted to scale it out to the intended segments, which is aligned to the national reform agendas and the financial sector reform agendas as well. These are the way we do. So when we see the key innovative results, the Michu and collateralized digital lending platform, which is a flagship for the bank, and which is a flagship for the country as well, and which has contributed a lot to bring the financial inclusion, both the needy community, mainly including women. On Michu, it's very difficult to tell you the number, by the way. Every time the number is changing because I have seen that the impact of the digital on exponential growth. Munir was telling you in the morning 1.3 million loan accounts. When I see the dashboard of just during the lunchtime, 1.47 million loans accounts, 24.5 billion disbursement. And surprisingly, out of this, 80% of the loan accounts goes to women. 80% it goes to women. I think, as already said in many things, the number speaks itself. His Excellency Governor Mamo usually acknowledged us and recognize our performance in any stage. Of course, he said it again yesterday as well. Recently, His Excellency Prime Minister, he had an interview on TikTok. He mentioned our bank. This is a critical message. We don't see this as well as a motivational aspect only. It's a big responsibility. Those leaders are really putting on us to contribute more, to transform, and to bring impact. So for me, it is a critical responsibility the leaders have putting on my shoulder. So this is how we are seeing things. And when we see the women's side, partnering with Kefiya, of course, we have done a lot of things. My brother Munir, we have struggled a lot of years for the last so many years. And partnering with Mastercard Foundation. And we have developed a tailored Michu loans, Michu Kia, for women only, which is based on the need of the women. So surprisingly, with 8 months, we launched this product in September. With 8 months, over 1 million accounts, 7.3 billion disbursement within 8 months. This is, for me, unbelievable when I see the figure as well.
Thank you.
I will finish. So, you know, I have also another product is on women with World Bank, African Gender Innovation Lab. We have a revenue-based financing. We asked women who told us revenues does not, or cash flow does not the same for every week, for every month, for every quarter. So we have designed the products that fit their cash flow. And with Mercy Crops and the Care Ethiopia as well, as VSL, Village Saving Loan Association, which is similar to like Ahmed Yunus of Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. And of course, with Kefiya as well, we have piloted the Michu digital on Sharia compliant financing as well. So I do have a lot of things for agriculture and everything. So we are doing this not because of, you know, complying something, but because of bringing the intended impact on the community that needs or underserved, so to unlock the potential for women especially.
Thank you so much, Deribie. I know as moderator, I need to keep track of time here, but I can't possibly stop you from talking about our work on revenue-based finance, so that was very sneaky of you. You mentioned the Mastercard Foundation. Atsuko, if I can hand it over to you, and we switch a bit from the perspective on the lenders to the borrowers. So the Mastercard Foundation has made a big bet on youth employment through entrepreneurship of youth, and particularly of women as well. So tell us, where does access to capital, access to finance come in that work, in that realm?
Thank you so much, Toni, and thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here at this time when there's so much courage, commitment, community to really transform the economy. And the actors here on the stage and in the audience really, I think, are all supporting this transformation that's happening now. With regards to women, I don't think this crowd needs to be convinced. We did a study about 2 years ago when we realized that to enhance women's participation in the economy, Africa's economy, would increase contribution to GDP by $287 billion. And we're hoping a lot of it will be in Ethiopia. The reason why the Mastercard Foundation focuses on young entrepreneurs is that it is the future. The reason why we focus on micro entrepreneurs is because that's where young people are. We were talking to a young entrepreneur this morning, and the entrepreneur said 50% of the population in Ethiopia today is under 25. So that's an amazing statistic. We know that by focusing on young women, finance is one of the critical enablers to ensure they grow. We've also learned that it's not just access to finance, but it's coupled with capacity building, skills, mindset shift, resilience, self-confidence, and route to market. By focusing on young women, really tailoring product to young women, it can make a huge difference. The Mastercard Foundation has been supporting actors in this space. We've been supporting banks. I do believe that the foundation in Ethiopia is working with 13 banks, been supporting MFIs, supporting fintechs. It is you who make the difference. By targeting MSMEs, by targeting young people, by targeting young women. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Atsuko. Final question goes to you, Teddy. So in a few moments, all the banks in the room will see how they scored on the Women's Financial Inclusion Scorecard. I hope I'm not saying too much when I say that I think there's going to be some questions around how can I improve my score the next time. So with all the work that you've done at the Gen Innovation Lab on supporting women, both on banks, both on women's careers within the organization and on outreach to the female market segment, what do you think the main topics are that banks should be looking into?
Thank you, Toni. So I'm very glad that we finally have this benchmark in the form of the gender scorecard. You know, as you have seen from the presentation from Dina and Martha, you know, it has different components in terms of the external and also the internal. I mean, for this discussion, maybe I'll focus more on the internal. But I think one thing is important is very important that both as a sector and also as individual banks or institutions, we need to take a good, honest look about, you know, where we stand and what progress we have made, but also in terms of what gaps do exist. So at the Africa Gender Innovation Lab and broadly at the World Bank, we have been working on these, you know, broad topics around access to finance, expanding the access and usage of financial services and so on. And the data tells us that there is an existing and growing gap in some areas. And when we see why this gap exists, it's because how we deliver the services, right? So for example, when we do traditional kind of account opening campaigns, or whether it's about promoting digital financial services or the use cases, or even the credit products, the uptake may not necessarily be the same across different segments. So it's very important to understand the segment, try to create products and services that are purposeful and tailored to that specific segment. To give you an example, as you may know, the World Bank has had a large financing project, a $250 million called WEDEP, which is actually a pioneer in providing dedicated financing to women SMEs. And one of the things we noticed that even with the availability of funding, resources, which is the main constraint, but the adaptation rate or the use rate has been limited. So through our work at the Gender Innovation Lab, we have been experimenting different approaches about, you know, pushing the boundaries and trying to optimize in ways to expand access and so on. So as Deribie mentioned, for example, we have collaborated with Cooperative Bank of Oromia on this innovative cash flow and revenue-based financing tools. We have worked with several microfinance institutions in Ethiopia, who I see here also, on, you know, to optimize and to improve their cash flow-based lending to actually make great decisions. But we have also been fortunate enough, for example, to partner with Kafia and Enat Bank on uncollateralized digital lending. Similarly, also with a few banks on psychometric-based assessments. So all of these are, you know, even, you know, having access to the capital is an issue, but even with the availability of the resources, how can we be purposeful and optimize better to serve the women segment better? So through all of this, we have found very interesting insights and encouraging results as well. And hopefully we will be able to measure those results and be able to scale them through the program. So one thing I would like to say is that innovation is key, and the way that you see also these big numbers, for example, in millions and in billions of birrs that are going out in the form of credit or in terms of, you know, adaptation of digital financial services, we see results when there is innovation, when we are experimenting with different approaches. So experimenting does not mean it will work every time or all the time or in all places, but we have to try, and we try to learn from it and try to scale what is working. And that's you know, the whole theme of what we do. It's right, you know, through our work, it's about, you know, try different approaches, new approaches, whether it's through digitization, whether it's through optimization, or coming up with new ways of, you know, processing, you know, or launching products. So that's the key message that I would like to do.
Thanks,
maybe, Toni, if you allow me, just one more thing. Sure. So I think just key takeaways, for example, is, we need to embrace innovation, both in the products we offer, but not only that, but also how we deliver them. So if we have a beautiful, I know all of the banks here, I've seen the showcase as well, all of us have a dedicated product for the use, for the women, and so on. But if we are marketing or bringing these products, or if there is no value proposition on those products, the uptake would be low. So it's not only about creating the products, but how we deliver the products also needs to be innovative and trying out different things. And this will be a powerful and improving, powerful path in terms of increasing both the access and the access and also the usage of financial services. And it's one of the easiest way to improve your rank on the gender scorecard that will be unveiled shortly.
Thank you so much, Teddy. Now, when you're the after lunch panel on a Friday, you have to at least end on a social media friendly note. So before the session, I asked all of our panelists to write down one thing that Ethiopian banks can do to make the financial sector work for women. Out of all the things we've heard, what is the one thing that you think will make the biggest impact? So in your own words, maybe starting with Tigist, in a sentence, not more than a sentence, what are the answers that you came up with?
What I wrote is that for making, only like this. Make it strategic focus and structural alignment is really required to advance women finance access. But I want to thank, Kafia, Mastercard Foundation.
Awesome, thank you. One sentence. Yeah.
My one sentence is purpose-driven innovation. Bricks as mortal doesn't bring the intended transformation. That's why I use this term. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have my own. Tailor product to young women. My sentence is, when a woman is enabled, she brings the income, and the household income can increase by 30%. 90% of her income goes back to health, nutrition, and education of the family. You enable a woman, you enable an economy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think my one word is innovate. It's about try, measure and scale whatever works.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. And before I ask Yvonne to come up on stage and release the results of the first Ethiopian gender scorecard, let me say some very, very quick thank yous. To all our panelists, of course, to the presenters, to Yemi Kinfe, Uloma Ogba, Ramona Kettenstock, who've worked hard on the scorecard and on the results, to our generous friends at Global Affairs Canada, at the Gates Foundation, to Jote Work, who's the greatest champion that this topic could have in Ethiopia. Jote, you're amazing. Governor Mamo, thank you so much for being here and championing this cause as well. And with that, thank you all for being here, and over to you, Yvonne.